weeks, and now schools being closed until further notice. We're also being warned even more drastic measures may be introduced. Troops are being put on standby, as Nathan was saying. There's talk of some places, particularly London, being put into lockdown. Now, these kind of restrictions have already been in place in Italy for more than a week. So how does it work? What can we learn from what is happening there? And what advice have they got for us? Well, Sophie Doherty lives in York, but many members of her family live in Naples. And former BBC Radio York journalist Cara Drinkwater lives in a small town near Bologna in the north of Italy. Let's start with Sophie first. So, Sophie, your family aren't in the north, which is the most badly affected region in Italy. How are they? How are they at the moment, Sophie?
They're still holding in there. I think I probably think they're getting a little bit stir crazy being in the house now. However, some relatives who actually live up in Milan, they've been entertaining themselves by having drinks with their neighbours in their apartment block, but opening their doors and sitting in their own apartments, putting a bottle of wine out and sort of drinking and sort of shouting down the apartment blocks to each other.
And what are they telling you about the lockdown and how it works?
Well, they've just been told that they need to stay indoors. They're allowed to leave if they go to the pharmacy or to get food. But apart from that, they've just been told to stay inside.
How worried are they, Sophie?
I think they are quite worried, but they said they've just got to stay strong and just hope and know that the government are doing this for everyone's best interest, and just hope that it goes, well, not goes, but everyone gets on top of it quite soon.
Mm-hmm. Let's bring Carly Drinkwater in now. She lives in northern Italy, close to Bologna, where the worst of coronavirus outbreak is in Italy. Morning to you, Carly. What about you? I know we spoke on Saturday, didn't we? How have things changed since Saturday for you?
Well, you wouldn't believe in such a short amount of time, but there seems to be a new decree out almost every day. And even since Saturday, things have got more difficult here. Emilia-Romagna is the region where I live. And that is the second worst region in Italy after Lombardy for the amount of cases. And as the cases and the death toll rises, the decrees that we are sent restrict our freedom more and more. If it's possible, I didn't think it could actually be possible to restrict our freedom even further. We could, as Sophie mentioned, you are allowed to go out to get food or go to the pharmacy. And as we are in the countryside here, you could go on a little walk. It was okay to go on a little walk or a run. But there's a new decree that came out last night, and now we are restricted to a 500-metre maximum radius from our house. So if you feel like you just want to get some fresh air, in theory you can, but it's maximum 500 metres from the house, which means you can't really stretch your legs. If you think about how far that is, that's probably about 5 or 6 houses down the road, to the end of your road. Even if you have a dog, which was a lifeline really, even if you have a dog and you want to take the dog out for a walk, that's the maximum distance you can go. And we also have new documentation that we have to take even to the supermarket. So before you needed just the documentation to move around the comune, which if you go between different comuni, it's a different municipality. Even to move around within 1 kilometre of your house to the supermarket, for example, you need your ID, you need paperwork, and it has to be filled out to say what you are doing. Literally, I am going to the supermarket to buy food in case you are checked by the police.
Carly, how are you coping with all of this?
As you can imagine, it's really not easy. Your moods go up and down. You accept it, but then you do get moments of feeling completely trapped, of course. You feel lost, sometimes frustrated, a bit tearful, because you can't go and do anything. It's not a case of, I can't come and fly home to see my family. I can't come home for a friend's wedding. I can't even go down the road anymore. And there has to be an awful lot of personal acceptance and reflection of why we have to keep doing this. And if you look at the statistics, it's obvious why we have to keep doing this, despite all these extraordinary measures, despite all this sacrifice from the people living here. The cases are still rising. So the government and the authorities become more and more desperate, and they restrict what we can do more and more every day as a result.
What advice would you give to people in the UK if we are put on lockdown? Any tips to get through it?
My tips are to always keep in mind the people that you are doing this for. And it's not people who are far away. It can be someone that you know. As the cases rise, it could be your grandparents. It could be someone else that you know. It could be somebody younger, but they have an underlying health condition. And also keep in mind that this will be over. We don't know when it will be over, but it will be over, and we will get through this, the other side. And hopefully we've learned a few lessons. Nature's recovering while we're staying indoors, and we're learning to be grateful for the first time in a long time. You open the door, and all you can hear is the birds and maybe the church bells, which is a wonderful thing to be grateful for.
Carly, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. Carly Drinkwater,